I've just finished shopping at Bengal Meats here in Dhaka. There's an incredible variety of ingredients. Stay tuned to see what I've picked up and what I create with them. Today I've taken a little inspiration from my trip out to Bengal Meats, and I'm going to show you my recipe for Osso Buco. This is one of the things I love to cook because once I put it on the stove, I can forget about it. I put all the effort into prepping the ingredients now, and it just does its thing, ticking away on the stovetop or in the oven. It's actually pretty easy once you get it all together. You don't really have to think about it for such a hearty, delicious meal. So let's get right into it. For my Osso Buco, you're going to need obviously your beautiful cuts of Osso Buco. I have garlic, onions, fresh tomatoes, but I have canned peeled tomatoes as well and tomato paste. You can use a combination of these. A herb of your choice. You can use thyme, oregano, sage, rosemary, any of your favorites. Cinnamon, bay leaf, whole peppercorn, so it's darchini, tejpata, golmorich, olives, carrot and celery. So Osso Buco is often the tail or the shin meat. You've got the bone running through it. You've got all that tight muscle and fat in the cut. By searing it and letting it go low and slow, all the bone marrow comes out into the sauce as well. So this is why Osso Buco is such a fantastic cut of meat and something I love to make, especially in the colder seasons. So I am just going to prep all my vegetables. Now, it just has to be roughly chopped. And look, I use the celery leaves as well. You can just put it all in there. Your carrots, celery and onion work as a stock base. It's the best for provincial French type food. Italians use a lot of tomato in their base. আপনি যদি celery হাতের কাছে না থাকে, don't worry about it. If you can't find celery, and I know it's less readily available, sometimes I would look for it and not be able to find it, don't worry too much. Onions and carrot is enough to create a beautiful stock sauce. We're going to put a lot of garlic into this. I want to use the garlic in two ways. For some of it, purata peel korte hobe, ar baki ordhek, you want to keep the peel on. Now it's time to start preparing my Osso Buco. Ami sear korar shomoy I'll season the other side and pepper. আর আমি এখানে একটু paprika ইউজ করতে চাই। তো এই পেপ্রিকাটা বেশি ঝাল না, এটা একটু হালকা একটা স্মোকড মিষ্টি একটা ফ্লেভার আসে, আর এটা টমেটো তারপরে স্টুতে বেশ ভালো লাগে। সো ইউজ সাম পেপ্রিকা ও স্মোকড পেপ্রিকা। আর এটাতে আমি cumin মানে জিরাও ইউজ করব। হয়তো জিরাটা ইউজ করা খুব ট্রেডিশনাল না, কিন্তু আমার এই ফ্লেভারটা ভালো লাগে। আমার মনে হয় যে কোনো মাংসের সাথে, যে কোনো গরুর মাংসের সাথে, ওটা Osso Buco হোক বা যে কোনো স্টাইলের রান্না হোক, আই ফিল লাইক জিরাটা দিলে খুব সুন্দর একটা ফ্রেগ্রেন্স আসে। সো দ্যাটস ওয়াই আই এম ইউজিং জিরা ইন মাই রেসিপি। চুলায় আমার প্যানটা বেশ গরম। There's a lot of heat coming off that pan. Our Osso Bucoটা will stick to the bottom, so you want to give it a good dash of oil. So আমি Osso Bucoর সাইডগুলো sear করছি. So you just want to seal in all the meat, all the sides. What I'm trying to do is just sear the outside of the meat. It gives it a little char, but it renders a bit of the fat before I actually put it into the stewing pot. It's completely raw at this point. It's just got a char around the outside. It adds to the flavor. I'm going to now finish off my Osso Buco in another pot on the stove. So I'm going to just add some spices. So cinnamon, peppercorns, bay leaf. Ooh. Fry off my onion, garlic. Eta amra kichukon brown korbo. To this I'm going to add some carrots, celery, season. Ekbar eta fry off hoye jawar pore I'm going to add tomato. So I'm adding some canned tomato, but I'm also going to add some fresh tomato, We are ready to put the Osso Buco back on top of this beautiful sauce. You want a few garlic cloves. What we want to do, iktu roshun, we're going to put this whole into the pot so it actually roasts down. Some beautiful olives. I'm going to add some now and then add some towards the end of my dish. And you want that really low. This is where I'm adding just a sprig of rosemary. Je kono dried herb ekhane add korte paren. Etate I'm just going to add my stock. Apni chicken ba beef stock je kono ekta stock add korte paren. Covering my meat is really essential. If your meat isn't covered, it's not going to stew down. It's going to remain uncooked. So it's important that you really get the meat under the stock. Okay, that looks great. So you can imagine, eitai ekhon next 4 ghonta, hoyto 5 ghonta, you're not going to lift the lid on this. It's going to be bubbling away for the next 4 or 5 hours, and it's just going to thicken and create such a beautiful sauce. So we're going to leave it. The last thing we're going to put in before we tuck it away is a tiny splash of balsamic vinegar. This will just give it that acidic depth that it needs. আমি এটা এখন খুব হালকা আঁচে দিয়ে রেখে চলে যাচ্ছি. I don't need to worry about this for the next 4 or 5 hours. It's been a few hours since I've had my Osso Buco on the stove. The house smells amazing, so I think I'm ready to see what's inside. Yes, I like the way this looks and smells. Ooh. Look at that Osso Buco just falling off the bone. Wow. So just go ahead and remove some of those herbs, and that's it. It's ready to serve. Wow. Look at that. And this sauce has just come together. It's so glossy. All that marrow has created a beautiful, glossy, meaty marrow sauce. And the olives add that acidity. My favorite part of this is also the whole roasted garlic pieces. They are so very sweet and tender and make everything come together. I love getting one of those garlic pieces and just popping it in my mouth or mopping it up with some bread. Okay, last but not least, what would this dish be without some fresh herbs? Now I have parsley. I think mint is great with this. You can use coriander, but I don't love the flavor of coriander in this dish. But please grind some lemon zest or lime. That also goes really well to bring all of this together. Now look at that. This is a dish I could eat over and over and over again on a cold day. Apart from the work you put in at the beginning, there is very little to do and you're left with this sort of result. I've got a knife and fork, but this is the type of dish you can just eat with a spoon. This is what I love about an Osso Buco. You have that beautiful meat that still stays intact. It's falling off the bone, but then you have these beautiful fatty gelatinous parts, and then obviously this bone marrow. This is full of rich, hearty goodness. Mop it up with some crusty bread and butter. This dish has everything that's a beef lover's dream. While I was shopping here at Bengal Meats, I was excited to find out that very soon you can shop their products online by heading to shop.bengalmeat.com.